All right, it's that time. It's that time. It came in. Yes, it came in. Look at that. Now, which one did I get? Which one am I going to use? Which brand did I get? Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm so glad each and every one of you can make it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Now, to understand what this is, why I got it, why you might want it, why you might need it, please take the time to go check out that video and then come back and watch this one. But it finally arrived, and here it is. It's a Panhard rod or a Panhard bar, however you want to say it. Now, I did a video on my lower control arms that I replaced, and I actually used BMR lower control arms. And you know, a lot of people are brand specific. If you get the lower control arms from BMR, you should get the Panhard rod from BMR. You should get the torque arm from BMR. And I'm not like that. I really am not, because everybody's products are pretty close in line with each other. Okay, they all use basically the bushings from the same company. The only difference is the actual assembly of the product itself. Now, when I went to get the Panhard rod, I did indeed look at the BMR, but I did not like the way theirs was set up. It had the solid ones were great. You know, everybody's solid ones are about the same way. One long tubular bar with ends on it with polyurethane bushings. And I showed in that video up there that you really need to check out, by the way, if I haven't mentioned that before, how to determine which one you need. Do you need one at all? Do you want an adjustable one? Do you want a solid one? Do you want a hybrid as far as the ends, because they've got solid ends and they've got polyurethane ends? You know, I discussed which one is which, why it might be important to have this one versus that one. And in that video I said, since my rear end was centered very close, that I did not need a adjustable one. And that is still correct. That is still true. But what is not true is, in that video I made the statement that I was going to order the solid Panhard bar, in other words, non-adjustable. Well, that statement was untrue, and please let me explain. Now, my black 1993 Z28, which is what this is going on, is already lowered. It has iBox springs on it. I put them on there years and years and years ago. Super great springs. They've held up well. They've done their job. I love them. It provides the rod height that I like, but I can't go any lower. If I go any lower, I'm going to have to do something, because my exhaust, the catalytic converter under there and the exhaust, if I go any lower, it's going to hit. It already hits speed bumps when I go over them. So, you know, with that said, I can't really go any lower. Plus, I don't want to. I like the rod height that it's at. But what I did do was, the more I thought about it, and that's why one of the reasons that you need an adjustable. Now, if you're going to lower your car, you will need an adjustable, because it changes the geometry as you lower it, and everything will want to shift. So you will want to be able to shift it back. But like I was saying, I said that I was going to get the non-adjustable. Well, that statement's untrue. What's in this box is the adjustable one. So let's get it out. Enough yapping about it. The reason I went with the adjustable one is just because I'm not going to be planning on buying another one of these for that car unless something happens to this one. So why limit myself? You know, one day I may want to do something. I'll need that adjustability. And it was only like $40 more. Yeah, the non-adjustable ones are $86. This UMI was $120, and if I went with the BMR, it would have been $60 more. So, oh, Cooper's got more paper to play with. Yay! So here we go. Let's get it out. Like I said, they've got different ones. They've got BMR. They've got UMI. They've got Spawns. They've got iBox, and so on and so forth. There's a bunch of name brand ones out there, and there's a bunch of non-name ones out there, non-brand, that you can find on eBay and everything. And while they're cheap, they really are. Whenever it comes to performance on a car, why would you want to save a few dollars over safety? In other words, I would rather spend $120 on this and know that it's backed by reputation It's backed by testing, it's backed by design, you know, and it's backed by tried and true performance. People that use it, people that race it, people that track it. Over somebody that might have built it in their own shop. I can understand people wanting them to make a living, make money and everything, start their own business, but I'm just not going to risk my safety or the safety of my passengers by doing such. So let's get back into this. And they got it wrapped up real nice, I'll tell you that. Oh, Cooper, look at the paper you got now, boy. Cooper, if you don't know, is my cat, or my wife and I's cat. And he absolutely loves this brown paper. He has so much fun just laying on it because of the crinkliness and everything. Yeah, here we go. All right. Product brochure, sales stuff. Stop. Got to read the safety stuff before you install it. And a decal. Yes, sir. When I bought my BMR lower controls, I did not get a decal. BMR, shame on you. So here we go. Now, I'm going to get this off. I had to put my CNI dogs on so I didn't mess anything up. Cut the tape. I'm sorry, Coop. He's always watching. He's right there. But this actually came with the grease for the bushings, which the BMR did not. Another no-no BMR. And it's also got another small decal right there. But it also comes with the instructions on what. There's the item number if you're wondering. It's 2019. There's the item number 2019 is for an 82 to 2002 GM F-body single adjustable Panhard rod. You can get them to where they're adjustable on both ends. But there you go. There's that. And we'll get to all that in a second. I want to open this up so we can see it. Man, thing is wrapped up good. Let me tell you what, man. Jesus Christ. Whew. Rough on it, old man. There we go. But this is what you get. Ta-da! Look at that. And it's got a decal already on it. BMR. But what you get is and I'll put all the description and everything inside the comment box down there so you know what it's made out of and all that. This is not the chrome moly one that you can spend $300 and get one that's made out of chrome moly. I'm not going to need that because I don't track my car professionally or anything like that. So I'm not going to be, you know, just completely abusing and racing my car. So I don't need the chrome moly one. This is just for street fun. This is just for me to have a little bit of fun. It's got the polyurethane bushings, and again, it's got the grease that you put on it as you put them in. I'll show you that in the video as we do it. It's got Zerk fittings so that you can grease this periodically. And it's adjustable, as you can see. Now the way you adjust it is once you get it in the car and when you put it in, you want the grease fittings down so you can get to the grease fittings. But once it's on the car, you loosen this jam nut and then you turn in or out, right? You can turn either that or you can turn the bar, whichever is easiest. Now what I don't like about the single adjustable one side of it's going to have to be loose. Because you see this side's not adjustable, this side is. The double adjustable one is kind of right in there from BMR. And what's cool about it is you can loosen the two jam nuts tight and just turn the bar. Whereas with the UMI one, you're going to have to physically take one bolt out, drop it down, turn it, put it back in, put the bolt back to it with the nut on it. But I'm okay with that because once I get this set, once I get the car centered, I'm not going to have to worry about that. But that's the only drawback to having a single adjustable Panhard bar. That's the only drawback. You'll have to take one side loose. Like I said, turn it a half, turn it a whole, or however many you think you need to go. Whereas the other one is a little bit more simple if you've got help doing it because you can have one person standing on the outside measuring while you do the adjusting underneath. But it's not hard to get to. The rear end of the car is just higher anyway. But put it up on a set of car ramps and you're good to go. And I will be showing you that in the video coming up shortly. I'm not going to make a separate video on it. It's going to be part of this video, so you'll see me in a different outfit. But I just wanted to get this open because the weather's been crappy. I've been getting home, leaving before dark, getting home after dark. So I have not had the time or the opportunity to show this, to do this. And I've had this probably for 3 weeks now. Well, ever since I did the other video, it came in 3 days later. But there you go, UMI. Again, what came in the box? Got a UMI Performance sticker for the toolbox or whatever. You got the polyurethane lube, the instructions for the lube and the part number. Then you've got a sales brochure from UMI, 10% off the entire store, which is great because there's some stuff on here that I want. Like I definitely want the sway bar kit. I definitely want, I'm thinking about changing the springs out just because. And yep, there they are. I want the upper and lower front A-arm kit. So there's a 10% off that I can get. And then you've got the Hot Rod Power Tour package, which this is no good because Hot Rod Power Tour for 2019 is already over. A bigger UMI sticker, yes, haha. And then you have the UMI Performance Stop paper. Let's see what it says. If there is a problem with your item, please do not return them to the retail store. For assistance, and they got a number to call. That's all it's for. So it's pretty straightforward. All the instructions and stuff you're going to need is in this pack with the grease. And that's it. I'm not going to open it up just yet because I don't need it. It's going to be a, I don't know, today's Friday. It's cold and windy as crap outside, so I know I won't be getting it on today. Plus I got somewhere I got to go in a little bit. And maybe tomorrow or Sunday. But it's definitely going on this weekend. So I'll see you in a little bit.
3 weeks later.
Okay, first thing you're going to need to do is get the vehicle up off the ground. Now depending on what you have is how you're going to want to do this. I've got all 4 wheels up because I've got something else I got to do in another video. But for this purpose I have mine on jack stands, and I'll show you that here in a second. The reason I have mine on jack stands is that keeps all the weight of the vehicle on the axle. That way I can go ahead and get everything centered and tighten it down. If you're only using a jack, then you'll need to put it on, leave all the bolts loose, lower the car down on the ground, crawl back under the rear end after you get it centered and tighten them down, because you do not want a preload on this. But because I have mine on jack stands, it's just like if it's sitting on the ground. But as you can see, I've got mine on jack stands, one here, one over there, and I just have the jack under the center of it just for extra support. I don't want this thing falling on me. But what we're going to be doing is there's 2 bolts we're going to take out. One here and one on the other side. And on this side, it is a, what is it, 16? 18 millimeter on this side. And on the back side, it is, spin around so I can see, a 21. So here we go, I'll show you out in the light. 18. And a 21. Find the size upside down. 21 right there. You can use sockets, you can use wrenches, whatever you have. And you're going to need a large wrench for this. I think it's about 1 1/8 inches, but I'm just going to use a large adjustable. Tighten that down when I get it set. But let's get to it. It's cold out here today, wind's blowing, man. But again, all we're going to do is be taking those 2 bolts out, and then we're going to drop the old Panhard bar out, and then we're going to compare it, and I'll show you some differences and what you need to do next. And of course you'll want to spray down the threads with some penetrating oil, because with all the dirt and stuff from the years of being on here, it's going to be a little tight. There's that side. Now we repeat the same process on the other side. Alright, get it loose. Put the other ratchet on it to hold it. And just remember which way your bolts go back in, because you want to put them back in the same way. I really don't think it'd matter, but I'm particular like that. The factory felt it needed to be that way. That's how I'm going to put it. Now this is one thing I wanted to show you before I pulled this all the way out. And I'll show you compared to the other one. We can see it's just one flat piece of metal stamped and formed. And, you know, like I said before, whenever they make cars, they have to find a comfort level in between comfort and performance. But watch this. Under load, this thing will actually twist. Look at that. So that's not very stiff, and that's what makes the solid Panhard bar better, or tubular. So let me get this out and I'll show you the difference between the two. Alright, I've got them out here side by side. Now you can see the difference. Like I said, this is just a stamped piece under a lot of load and a lot of horsepower and a lot of cornering. It will actually flex compared to the solid tubular design. Much stiffer, much harder. Now, how do you get it close, you may ask? Take something long like a screwdriver and stick through the hole and then come to the other end. And you see I'm a little long here. Loosen the bolt up and you screw that in until that lines up. Help if I go the right way. Just keep screwing it in until it lines up. Now this is if you're trying to get it close to factory, and they say these come set to factory, but you know how that is. It's always going to be off just a hair. That should be fairly close there. Let's check it and see. Take another screwdriver, a long bolt. Look at that, right through. But since we're off a little bit, it's off center, and I measured mine. This side is 4 5/8 from the outside here to the center of the wheel. And on the other side is 5 3/8. So that means I'm 6/8 of an inch off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust that in the bar here on the ground. That way when I put it back in the car, I know that I'm going to be fairly close. Then I come back and measure and adjust accordingly. But the way this is going to go in the car, these Zerk fittings need to be pointed down. That way you can get to them to grease them. And there's two mounting points, as you saw. You have the one on the passenger side, which is mounted to the frame, and you have the one on the other side, which is mounted to the rear end housing, the rear axle, whatever you want to call it. So you want the solid mount mounted to the frame side, or body side rather, and you want this side, the adjustable side, mounted to the axle side, because this may generate a little bit of road noise. It's possible. So you want this as far away from the body as you can get it to take out any noise that it puts in. But more importantly, as you can see underneath this car, or your car, the axle side is a lot easier to get to than the body side, because it will have to be raised up. You can get to this side without it being raised. That side, unless you're really thin, it takes a little bit of work. And so that's 6/8 of an inch. I'm just using that type of math to keep it simple. So what I'm going to do is, since that's mounted to the body, where the car will be stationary, and what we're doing is we're moving the axle. So that's going to be stationary in the car. I'm going to screw this out 3/8 of an inch. It's lined up center to center right now, but I'm going to screw it out 3/8 of an inch. That will give me the dividing point, right? That'll be the middle of the 6/8, and that will push this rear end that way 3/8 of an inch. So then I should have the same measurement over there as I do over here, in theory. So let me put it on and we'll find out if that works or not. Okay, so I got my tape measure down here, and I don't like using the end of the tape measure. I'm going to use my 1/2 inch mark. So I'm going to go to 3/8 of an inch. So that'd be, get something to point with. Let's screwdriver. That'll be 1/8, that'll be 2/8, that'll be 3/8. On the tape measure, it'll actually be 7/8 of an inch where I need to stop. If that makes sense. So I'll need to move this as I move the jam nut. So I'm going to raise it up. I'm not going to move the bar. I'm going to raise it up. I'm going to screw this out until I think I'm about 3/8 of an inch stop, set it down, measure the gap. I need to go one more round. Half inch. Go one more. Half inch mark to right there. That is exactly 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to take the jam nut, I'm going to bump it back in. Just snugly tighten it with my fingers. Now we need to put the grease on it and install it. They give you some Prothane super grease. And all you're going to do is you're going to open this up, spread it on your polyurethane bushing on the sides, and that will help get it into the brackets a lot easier. So we're going to open it up. Set that down right there so we can pick up the trash later. Lay it on the side. It's not going to take a bunch. Dab like that will probably do this whole side. And I don't know why it's called grease, because this is some sticky stuff. But we're going to do it just like that on all 4 sides, and then we'll be back under the car. Alright, that side's greased, as you can see. Get that little bit of trash out of it. That side is greased. The other end is the same way. As you can see there. And there. So now we're going to put it under the car. As I stated, the solid side, which would be this side, the non-adjustable, goes on the passenger side. The adjustable side goes on the axle side. So I'll meet you under the car. Alright, just take it. And this sticker is really good and heavy powder coated, so you don't have to really worry about scratching it, but I'm real particular about stuff like that anyway. So just take it and start it where it needs to go. Alright, so all we're going to do is just put it up in the bracket the same way it came out. And you can wiggle it and push on at the same time. And that'll help get it up in there. Line your hole up, stick the bolt in it, same way it came out. Here we go. Now you might have to use a little bit of gentle persuasion to get it in there, but do whatever you gotta do. Now we're gonna take the nut, lightly put it on here, just finger tighten it. Now we'll go to the other side. Now as you can see, the hole don't line up, so we're going to have to put a pry bar in here and force it. That'll push the rear end over. Wow. I'm gonna lie to you, that took some doing, trying to figure out, how to move everything over by hand and get everything to line up. That took some ingenuity. But there it is, it's in. Now we got to measure again on the outside, and if it's not lined up, we have to take that back out and move it which way we need to go. And I can see right now I need some new bump stops up there too, way up there. So that'll be on the list of mods to do. Yay! That's what's great about when you work on a car, you can look and see what else needs to be done, and that prevents your car from bottoming out up there against the body and tearing stuff up, and your wheels going up hitting your fenders. So now if I did my math right, from the center of the wheel to the back side of the level should be 5 inches on both sides. That is why I divided the number in half instead of doing the whole thing. So let's get the level up here nice and level. It's always fun trying to do this one-handed. You can see the bubbles between the 2 marks. Look at that, almost exactly 5 inches, and the level's not completely right, so that's a little better. Look at that, 5 inches. Bingo. Let's go over to the other side and check it. Bubble's nice and level. Nice and level there. So boom, let's check it. Yeah, 5 inches. So that is exactly where we need to be. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and tighten up the bolts. We're going to put some grease in it. That's what the grease gun's for. And then we're going to put the caps on it to keep the dirt out of the grease fittings. That way we can come back and grease it without, you know, having dirt all over it, caked up and everything, not letting us grease us. So let's get everything tightened up and we'll be finished. Nut back on it. And tighten everything down. Alright, here we go. UMI Panhard bar, Panhard rod, whatever you want to call it, installed. Goes straight across from, like I said, the body mount. All the way and locates over there on the rear end. This will give so much better handling, cornering capabilities, because I can tell you what, I put the lower control arms, as you remember from the other video right there, and it made this thing take off and line so much better. Now this will help with the cornering. What's next? I'm going to do the sway bars. I want to put the UMI sway bars in. I'm going to get their Coney shocks and put on it, because these shocks have, like I said, 214,000 miles on it. It's time to swap them. They're not wore out, it's just time for something different, upgrade. And I want to put the torque arm on it, which goes from right there all the way up to the side of the transmission. But I would really like to relocate it to where it's not on the side of the transmission, but we'll see. Turn that off real quick before I get a copyright strike. Yes sir. But there you go, that's all there is to it. Like I said, it shouldn't take you any longer than an hour to do this, and 30 minutes of that is getting all your tools and stuff out. It's not hard. 2 bolts, that's it. The hardest part is, like I said, once you get one side in, if your rear end is not already centered, you have to try to push on one side to get the car or the rear end to shift. And since this was sitting on the rear end already, it had all the weight on it, I'm basically pushing the car, the whole body of the whole car over is basically what I'm doing. And you know, it's not that hard, it's just you got the grease in there, which makes it really slick. Then you've got the pry bar or long screwdriver, you know, you're sitting there pulling on it and it's trying to pull it down or push it up, depending on which way you're going. So you have to try to stick something in the hole, take that and prise it and get the hole lined up, and then get it all the way through. Then you have to get your bolt ready, put your pry bar in there and pull that screwdriver out, hoping it don't move. Put your bolt in there and then tap it in. But it's not that hard, but it is a lot simpler or a lot easier with two people. That way you can sit there and have the one guy push on it, or lady, depending on whichever. Have them push on the car whichever way it needs to go real easily, while you push the Panhard bar where it needs to go and slip the bolt through it. But yes, it's that easy. Now, like I said, when I go around a curve, I'm going to have better handling characteristics. The rear end's going to want to track straighter as I go down a straight line. It's not going to want to kind of ride kind of crooked a little bit because the rear end is now straight. And like I said, it'll give me better performance going around curves because it won't have that potential flex in it. So overall, it's going to be really, really great upgrade. Now, with that said, if you ever decide to do anything like that, there is some information you need to know. And I talked about it in my other videos. If you care to go down to the playlist and check on the 410 stuff, you'll see what I'm talking about as far as the Panhard ride and the lower control arms. And what I'm talking about is, like I was saying, the factory uses the rubber bushings because they have to try to get a fine balance in between performance, comfortability, and rideability. And when you put these really hard polyurethane bushings in there, you will pick up some stiffness. You will pick up some road noise whenever you go down the road and go over bumps and stuff. You're going to hear a little more. You're going to feel a little bit more in the seat of the pants just because everything's stiffer, everything's tighter, everything's more firm. And you know, outside of that, it's great. And like I said, it made the car hook so much better when I took off, because when I had floorboarded it before, it'd sit here and it wouldn't have any wheel hop to it, but what it would do, you could feel it kind of just sit there and want to spin a little bit. It would take off good, but it would want to spin a little bit. Now, whenever I get on it, you can actually feel the rear end want to squat where it's gripping. The rear end's gripping, and it's actually pulling the rear end down as the tires rotate the rear end. So it's working really, really good. But I have noticed a little bit more road noise, and that's to be expected because you're putting harder bushings in between what is on the road and what's between your seat of the pants butt, right? But yeah, I just wanted to put this video out there because it's been 3 weeks now. I've had this bar and it's been raining, it's been cold, I've been working, yada yada yada. How many excuses you want? I've got more. You want more? But with that said, I strongly recommend this if you're trying to upgrade your car any. If you're wanting better handling, better performance out of it, this is the ticket. This is the best way you can go with the polyurethane bushings and still have some streetability and drivability. Because if you go with the solid mounts and everything, you're going to have a lot of noise. Some guys don't care about noise. Some gals don't care about the noise. I personally do. I mean, it's still a daily driver, but I found, for me, the perfect balance in between. I would recommend this to any of you guys and gals out there because, like I said, it makes everything perform better. Now, I still have some more work to do to the rear end. Like I said, I want to do the torque arm. I'd really like to relocate the torque arm so that it's not on the side of the transmission, because every time you get on your car really good, that puts undue pressure on the transmission, on the side of the transmission and the transmission mount. So I really want to do that. I really want to do the sway bars, and then I've got to do some work on my front end because I've noticed I've got some busted boots on the front end, so it's time to do that. So I'm hoping to put the tubular upper and lower A-arms on there. I want to do that. I want to put the front sway bar on there too, plus I want to do the Coney shocks. And then I've got some mods for the inside. I want to do the racing seats, I want to do new carpet. You know, I'm trying to keep it up. It's that time. It's got a lot of miles on it. It's got a lot of wear and tear, and it's just that time, you know. But I've noticed ever since I did the rear end, I now have an issue with the transmission, and you'll have to check out the next video with that. It's not the actual transmission, it's something to do with the transmission, and it's just age and me putting performance parts on the rear. What is that? You'll have to watch the next video. Cliffhanger. But until next time, guys and gals, I really appreciate you stopping by, each and every one of you. I do. I really appreciate it. It means so much. And we'll see you in the next video. Get out there and enjoy these cars, because that is what these are made for. You pay for them, enjoy them. Just like him. He's out there taking pride in his car. Here it is. It's only like 35, 40 degrees, and he's out here washing and drying his car. Kudos to him.